The Wisconsin Assembly passed a bill on Wednesday that would limit 2/3 of all purchases made with FoodShare benefits to a pre-approved list. The idea is to encourage healthy eating habits among those on public assistance to cut down on health care costs down the road. Democrats accuse Republicans of hating poor people.
We're treating our poor neighbors and friends like they're criminals, and I find that shameful, absolutely shameful. Bottom line, this is a mean and spiteful bill. It's full of preconceived notions and intentional shaming.
This bill sets two standards, a rule for the poor and a different rule for not poor, and that's not right.
But the bill's author, Representative Rob Brooks, had something to say about that.
You don't know how I grew up. You don't know that my father worked for Chrysler Corporation and was laid off for months and months and changeovers, and we were on assistance at different times and had to go to the local farmer for things. So don't pretend to know where I'm coming from.
Democrats also argued that the technology doesn't exist to support the reform.
You see, right now, the technology doesn't exist to track and categorize a FoodShare participant's purchases. But you're going to invent that. That's going to cost a lot of money. We'll talk about that later.
The final vote was 60 to 35. It now heads to the Senate. If it becomes law, the state will request a waiver from the feds to implement the program. Something else Democrats say is an impossibility.
I heard we're not going to get the waiver because everybody's applied for it. I don't know that, but I do know this. If we don't apply and we don't ask, we'll never get it. It will never happen. We have to apply for a waiver in order to try and reform government and get things, in line with what their intended purpose is.
For the McIver Institute, I'm Bill Osmolsky.